I'd like to begin the session by highlighting a few things for the future higher education and today's higher education. We have a challenging focus as a higher education in India, where there's a lot of attention need to be put on the faculty side, faculty development, faculty performance, faculty contributions, so many other areas like research, and there is other aspect is an ongoing student success, right? And then the other part that I would like your attention is the data and data security for institutions now. And then the third part I would like to give some details is the institutional effectiveness. When we combine all these three things, I think we can reach and create this mass success and create a better society as universities. And that's the idea I'd like to share with you all. You know, if you notice, there's a lot of higher education statistics that was shared, so I will skip all these things for now. Now, I want to start the student success as the first topic. When we're talking about, my session will be focused only on technology. I know there are many other aspects that contributes to a student success rate. And where I am trying to help or bring some insight is where technology can bridge the gap, right? So when we are talking about, I'm not talking about the normal like student admissions or CRMs, and these are things you are already very well aware. With the introduction of NEP, we have new concepts like, we want to do like credit transfers and ABC and all that we have heard in the morning. We start with something like student self-registration, right? Where the students are now given a lot of choices to choose their credits, their classes, their courses, their favorite faculties, their favorite time. So there's a lot of flexibility, I think the modern generation, the current students are expecting. And we as a company, we are fortunate to work with some of the largest universities in India, where their student counts over 30,000. Right, so we were able to manage their student self-registration within a few days for 20 to 25,000 students, and then we are now forced to give tools like degree audit, right? Where usually you find the students would go to a registrar office or discuss with their advisors to find out about where they are, what kind of courses to be added, what kind of credits needed in order to complete their journey of degree. But whereas tools like this, they can find options to see whether I can shuffle courses, what kind of courses I can take, how fast can I finish the degree and things like that. So we built with large universities in the world, with their help, we built a degree audit module, which is facilitating the student journey. And then we are now talking about something like, when your institution has like large number of students, it is very hard to focus on the individual success, right? Even though we might have advisors, counselors, and things like that, we would need a technology with AI infused or machine learning backend. There should be a student advising component, right? When you're talking about student advising component, I'm talking about things like you'd want to know that student is dropping on their grades automatically. You'd want to know the student is not behaving well, there's some behavioral issues, or their attendance is dropping. You could have many parameters like this, and then the system can constantly monitor. That will predict the success rate for the student. When it's predicting when there is some element that's not going well with the student, the system will then automatically assign the students to an advisor and create a success plan for them, which we don't want a human to do that, right? We would want the technology to do that part efficiently, effectively. Then there should be a student performance monitoring method that we should have it on the system, right? Whether it's learning outcomes or it's their graduation rate, or it can be your their placement rates, everything to do with the student performance. There should be dashboards, there should be alerting system, there should be reports, there should be advising using AI. Early alerts, not after the semester, right? So these are the systems that, with even your NEP and NIRF, these are things that are being pushed. Now, Then we are talking about degree progress, and we are talking about credit transfer. Somebody talked about credit, academic bank of credits. So we want universities to change students when they are moving from one university to another university, to recognize their degree to your degree and award them and credit them accordingly. We need a credit transfer methodology. And then we're also, when students are getting placed in the career, right, there should be a constant monitoring system where that's guiding them to become what they want. There should be a degree path for them, career path for them. And these are things with human help, and also technology can predict and place them in a better career. There should be a software that is assisting for the placement process and measure that success. So these are the things that we are trying to help with some of the largest universities in the world to automate and advise and create strategic plan for them. So that way there is not just a technology, but there's also an element of sharing the success from universities across the world. Now we keep talking about the faculty success, right? And in the morning also I was telling, we are connected with at least 25 different countries and hundreds of universities across the world. There's one thing that we constantly notice about faculty. Although there are a lot of efforts and there are focus on faculty, but that is not enough. That's what we have noticed. The technology for faculty is still far behind than what it should be. Now we are talking about whether it's your HR system like onboarding, recruitment. These things are slightly sorted. But we're talking about things like academic planning, your lesson planning, or guiding them with things like their KPIs and performance, or monitoring their success rate on their research. Whether they are filed many patents, what kind of research they are doing, what kind of books they are writing, whether they are attending conferences. There should be a system that is motivating, tracking, and eventually allowing the leaders, academic deans or heads to assess their performance very efficiently. There should be tools and technologies. And we have seen student portfolio, but we have not seen much faculty portfolios. Like faculties should be able to create a portfolio for themselves, like an academic CV. There should be their success, their research, their patents, their contribution to the institution should be properly tracked and presented within the university, so they have ability to present themselves better whenever there is a need, right? So, okay. I'm having trouble with this system. Okay, we're now talking about the data, right? The data is the big thing. Data is the future. We are talking about AI, we are talking about ChatGPT, we are talking about chatbots. All of these things, one thing is common if you notice, that's the data. The data that is a good quality data, what matters. Whether you are going for an NIRF or you are going to apply for an ACT or NBA, everything boils down to good quality data, right? And that's the important thing that I would like to talk. Whenever we talk to many institutions, the data is sitting in Excel sheet, they are sitting in across multiple platforms. There is a need, a pressure for a single integrated platform, whether it's your admission data, whether it's your placement data, or we are talking about a performance related data, or we want to know, let us say, student feedback. We have to have systems in such a way that it is triggering student feedback every semester. And we should be able to tell that, okay, we have this course, say in machine learning, and that's been taught for the past 3 semesters. How do we know that indeed the students are being benefited? What is their feedback? And are we able to compare the past 3 years of data and say, okay, this course is performing well, whereas the other course are not very well received by the students, or they don't like it. So there should be mechanism on feedback, there should be data visualization that's guiding the administrator to decide what kind of courses to keep, what kind of courses to drop. And that kind of data goes very well with the faculty also. We could ask questions on how well the faculty is performing, how well their deliverables are, what kind of content they're sharing, whether it's good quality. These are information that will help us take decision to drive the institutional effectiveness to the next level, right? And there has been a lot of data breaches that we have seen in newspaper. It's happening all over the world, not just in India, but it's happening all over the world. I would like to submit my humble request to all the leaders here, focus a lot on the data and data security, because companies like us get, we work with the European universities, the US universities, there is FERPA, there is GDPR, these are compliance, data compliances. We as a nation, we are still developing policies, improving policies on data security and things like that. Although there are good policies, but that are not visible or practiced heavily. So the data is a reputation for you. In case your data goes to public cloud or your data is thrown into the internet by somebody. And there are times that we have noticed some universities where students themselves are capable of hacking systems to go change their attendance and performance and things like that. So we are in a situation that where we need a superior technology that not only automates your institution, but also protects your data and keeps them safe and secured with all the world security standards, right? So, and keep data as a biggest focus, because with the data, not only you build your reputation of the institution, but also it guides you, and with the greater tools where you can visualize anything you want to talk about your, overall about institutional effectiveness. I think that's what the fundamental baseline for it. Another aspect is, and the third aspect that I like to talk is basically the institutional effectiveness, where it starts with the strategic plan. I would love to see many universities. There are a few universities that I've seen that do it very, very well. But all over the world, what we have seen is every big university has a strategic plan. The strategic plan for 5 years, sometimes they have for 10 years. Shortest I've seen is 3 years, right? When you build that strategic plan, you would talk about multiple themes, like, okay, a theme that is focused on student, another theme could be focused on faculties, where you will build your mission statements, and then talk to your colleagues about your why as an institution we exist. What is the society, social impact that we are trying to create, right? And then because now we are now trying to fight with the online courses, technologies, ChatGPT, where the knowledge is becoming so much, there is a moderation and there's a guideline to be done by the faculties with the superior knowledge. So there could be a focus on faculty improvement. There could be focus on talking to the industry and developing courses and curriculum according to the local trends and requirements and things like that. So strategic plan is one greater aspect that I would love to see in India. And we we talk about curriculum mapping. Curriculum now is assessed in many ways. We as a company that we have witnessed, they're not only outcome-based education, but also competency-based education, competency-based medical education. We have seen pharmacy services, we have seen dental services. When you're talking about culinary arts, that you are talking assessments done by more than one person. So there is a need for a platform that can develop very flexible, collaborative courses, get very, very powerful with the help of industry, with the help of your faculties with a lot of experience and research experience. There is a need for a tool. And then we want to take that into an assessment platform where its assessment should be very, very flexible. Whether you want to do a grade system or you want to do an outcome-based education system, competency system, the system should be able to support that. And then now the challenge is with all this liberal arts or any courses that are very flexible, scheduling becomes a nightmare with your infrastructure and courses and things like that. So there should be a AI-based scheduling system that allows the bigger institution to effectively use their resources like this, such as the classrooms and faculties and things like that, right? And we're talking about things like academic ranking. We are in India, we have a very superior framework, a very, very impressive framework that is based on data. Then we have world rankings, like, many world rankings are there. As an institution, we shouldn't be preparing like a last minute for the exam, right? And there's NAC coming, or NBA accreditation, or NIRF. We are put into a lot of pressure to collect the data. We need a system that not only facilitates collecting the data, but also it should be very organic. There should be, like when you're talking about NAC, there should be criteria owners. There should be standards that continuous improvement, continuous development should be there in order to improve not only the quality of the education, but also the quality of the faculty, quality of the students. Therefore, the society becomes much more powerful, empowered with, like we are talking about a transforming India, that India is trying to become the world's largest economy. In 10th century, we were the largest economy. Now that this century is coming back to India, right? And that puts a lot of pressure on leaders like you to create leaders and entrepreneurs and people with a lot of clarity. Because now information anyone can get on ChatGPT. Now we need people with much superior intelligence, and that will not come without a properly digitalized campus with a greater focus on data security, with a greater focus on institutional effectiveness, with a equally supported focus on faculties, and always students are the number one focus for us. So research, and there are multiple ways that I would love to see Indian universities have multiple sources of income. We are now depending, many institutions, 80% of the institutions depend only on student fees. There is no research funding coming. There is no alumni funding coming. We work with big university like National University of Singapore, and I visited their alumni building. That alumni building is much larger than this hotel, and so there's funding coming from alumni. There's funding coming from the social, corporates and things like that. So that should be when you look at the balance sheet of the university, there should be like, balanced income of this thing, so that you will be focused more on, you'll be able to fund more on research, you'll be focused more on strategic initiatives and things like that. I would love to see that. Big leaders are here. They're doing an amazing job. I'm monitoring them. But India is picking up. India is, as I mentioned, in a growing pain. As a country, as individuals, as an institution, we are in that pain. I think this next 4 or 5 years is going to be difficult in terms of adapting to the process, adapting to the new policies, adapting to the familiarizing ourselves with the new changes. It is going to be painful, but the pain can be reduced only with the proper automation. They should come forward to invest in technology. It is a critical aspect that you should spend. No cheaper technologies will give you that result. I've seen some of the private institutions are very generous, extremely well done. We are fortunate to work with some of the biggest universities in the world. Same kind of quality. This is heartening to see that we've gone are the days we went to US and Australia to study, but people are coming from there. You're bringing people from Africa to Middle East to study here. That's a wonderful thing. Congratulations all of you. But at the same time, I'm not finding many institutions have this same focus on getting themselves more strategically aligned with the technology and things like that. With this thought, I love to see all that's happening. We are here. We love to contribute in either you want a strategic advice, academic advice, or a strategic plan, digitalizing, any of those things we love to contribute. So thank you for patiently listening to me, and wish you all the best. Thank you.